read a tweet and no, it was an IG post. I actually posted it on the HMD page, and she said, you gotta need me like my shore need a cloud lifter.
That's
And
hard.
I thought it was one of the greatest joints ever. So I thought of my own. I wanted to share with y'all.
Oh my God.
Let's hear it.
She gotta need me like Logic need Mac.
Damn, that's so real. I'm not gonna lie. Nah, you got that. Nah, that's you. That's you.
She gotta need me
Like Logic need Mac.
Yeah. She gotta need me like the Mbox need Pro Tools.
Okay, which it doesn't now. You can be on any DAW.
But yeah, but like back in the day, that would have worked.
Can I say something? Do we believe that Logic is hurting themselves by not being cross-platform for Windows and Mac?
It's not hurting Apple. Logic.
I don't think anything hurts Apple.
It's not hurting Apple for the simple fact that here's how Pro Tools is making money off of y'all over and over.
Okay.
Subscription.
Yes.
Right? So they're going to get y'all money maybe how much a year? $150 a year?
30 times 12? What's that? Anybody got the math on that?
12 is...
What's 30 times 12?
360 a year.
Damn, I paid him $360 a year?
360 a year, right? That's amazing.
It's amazing.
So for every 4 years, that's... my math is not that good.
Every 4 years? What do you mean every 4 years?
720 times 2, 1480. 1480 every 4 years, right?
What do you mean?
$1,480 every 4 years. So you're paying Pro Tools.
Oh, for Pro Tools. Okay. Right.
The way Logic does it is you're not going to pay them monthly, and you only pay them that $200 the one time. But
right.
After 4 years, you're going to need a new laptop. So you're going to pay me $3,800 and whatever dollars every 4 years.
See, and that's always been Apple's business model is they'll sell the software to keep you on the hardware.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the thing. So in the back of my mind, I say to myself, do you think that's why people kind of, because think about it. When I think about beat making programs, Logic was king at one point, but then it felt like everybody kind of shifted and it got kind of like scattered. And I feel like that was with PC coming in and that being PC and FL Studio was like hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was the cheapest entry for people to get
into it, especially if you didn't have Apple.
Yup.
I'll tell you, it was the cheapest entry for people to get in that wanted to do it on their own.
Hear you.
People who discovered it in school or wanted to try to learn this way.
For sure.
I'm telling you, after this generation of kids leave school, Logic is going to be back on top because this literally is all they're learning.
Stay right there. So when I think about the generation-wise, right, I think about all these DAWs, right? So when I look at Pro Tools and one of my, not gripes, but one of my things I say to myself with Pro Tools, I'm like, I hope they realize this. I'm like, yo, there's a generation that absolutely loathes, does not like Pro Tools, doesn't want to use it. And I'm like, yo, that's really dangerous because the people that love it are going to get old. They're going to die off, right? Like, that's just a natural way of things occurring.
Y'all still going to pay. And they probably get a couple months after y'all pass, like, y'all credit card still.
Shut your mouth.
It's on auto pay.
Anyway, first of all, if I'm dead and gone, please cancel my Avid subscription. What are we doing here? What are we doing? What do you mean, how does it work? You go into this thing and you say cancel.
No, I mean, like, if all right, say I pass away and nobody knows my password, my card just keep getting charged until...
No, we're going to cancel all your accounts. This is so morbid. What are we doing here?
But how would y'all cancel without my passwords?
Because the whole account, your whole account is going to be canceled. So when they go to grab the money, it's going to be there. Why are we talking about death? This is a happy podcast.
You know why?
Death.
Because Magic's killed off Sony's DAW.
Welcome to the My Audio Nerds podcast, the podcast for audio nerds like yourself. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Also, remember, one lucky person is going to win an HMD Rosetta EQ if you comment or leave us a review on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify Podcasts. Please make sure that you put your @name in the review so that we can contact you and let you know you've won. To the left of me.
You got the FL God. I had one more, though, I want to share. But the FL God LJ... Fruity Loops, she gotta need me like Behringer needs Roland.
Oh my God!
And I just wanted to say that because Behringer announced 3 new Roland clones and they dropped none of them. They just keep announcing them but not dropping them.
Why?
Because they blamed it on the chip shortage. But just stop announcing if you're not gonna
drop it. Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Shout out to Behringer. Behringer, by the way, send us the stuff.
No, they're not gonna send it to us.
They should.
I will buy it. It's $14.
Oh, that's what. Okay,
it's cheap.
Why do you continue to make me look bad on this place?
Okay, well,
to the right of me,
I'm the Ableton guy.
Right?
Because because we're doing a.
That shit.
You started playing music. We almost like, are you gonna stop it or not? We gave you like a grace period, like 3 seconds, and then it was like, and then I thought you was rocking like.
No, shut off playing that.
Oh. Shout out to Courtney, my Ableton guy. It's your boy Devvon Terrell. I am the pro. Play it the next episode. I am a Pro Tools user. LJ, do you have a one got to get ahead for us?
Always got a one gotta go for y'all.
I appreciate you.
Today we got bass modules.
Bass modules.
Bass modules, bass VSTs. Anything that gives you low end.
Okay.
All right. First we got Substance.
Oh, dangerous. Okay. If you know, you know.
Second we got Trillion.
Okay.
You know. By Spectrasonics. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then third and last we got Sublab.
Oh, come on. I knew you was going to do that. You thought about me when you wrote all of these down.
Absolutely.
One gotta go?
One gotta go.
What was the first one?
Substance.
All right. I love Substance, but that gotta go for me. Because I'm not leaving. Trillion's not going nowhere, and Sublab is slaps.
You know what's going for me?
What's gonna go for you?
Sublab.
Oh yeah, you don't like Sublab.
Sublab was trash.
Shout out to what's our homie name? He was on the episode. Swag. Shout out to Swag. Because when Swag said I love Sublab, bro, that was my ultimate look at leaving. It's like, I told you.
I think Sublab, I'm going to try Sublab XL.
Got you.
It seems like something more that I would like.
Yeah.
I don't like Sublab.
You don't like
feel
Sublab.
and I got it with all the extra packs and everything, but I feel like the sounds aren't the best. And I like just the ability to just pick I have way more doper 808s in one shot that I'd rather use.
But I think you can drag and drop 808s into Sublab and use all of it. Like use the compressor, all of those drivers and stuff like that.
It's also easier and more efficient for my computer if I just drag and drop it to the greatest sampler in the world.
I'm crying.
Which is FL. So
the greatest sampler in the world?
We don't have to talk about that. That's another conversation. But I'm gonna prove to y'all that this is the best sampler for your buck.
What's my choice?
What's your choice? I'm gonna let him rock.
It's not Trillion.
I'm gonna let him rock.
Nobody loves Trillion like him.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Trillion go.
You're keeping Trillion.
We're gonna change this podcast.
We know
We're
lying.
changing this
You're
podcast.
capping.
It's crazy.
You're capping
I think Trillion is the only one I'm keeping.
Oh my god.
Damn, you gonna get rid of
Yeah,
Sublab?
I have to throw
You
mad
just gonna
shots. Oh, no offense.
So you getting rid of Sublab and you getting rid of what?
Yeah, Substance. I don't really use Substance.
You don't use Substance like that. I know you don't. Yeah.
And Sublab, I tried it. You know, I was trying to put you onto it back when it first came out.
You did.
And I was just like, huh.
Mid.
Like, I don't know what it was. Like, I think what it was, I watched so many producer videos.
Yeah.
And I seen everyone just dragging files from their library onto the DAW. And I'm just like,
we was doing this before we had a VST.
I'm doing this like a loser.
We didn't need a VST for that. Like, we've been doing this.
No
before.
offense to anyone who uses Sublab.
But I don't think people don't realize how intuitive it is. It's see it like this. For me, there's not really a VST that was so super geared towards like 808s, not bass, but 808s.
Well, outside of Sub-Zero, remember that contact bank that you first?
Oh my God! Remember we used to use Sub-Zero. What company made that?
Native Instruments, right?
I don't know if it was Native.
Oh my God! You remember Sub-Zero?
Yeah,
that was a good
library,
sub plugin.
Right?
Yeah, it was a contact.
It was a contact library.
I'm gonna find out.
Wow, that was a really good. That was my favorite sub plugin. I forgot all about that.
Yep.
But Sublab
sub-basses.
took over for me because Sublab had so much capabilities for me to manipulate the 808, and it was all of the parameters were geared towards bass. So the way I was able to add distortion, the way I was able, even the compressor was dope on that thing. So for me, I just feel like when it came to 808 processing, as far as from a fun musical standpoint, I just felt like Sublab was just slapping for me.
Maybe I gotta come back to it, you know. But that's just my choice.
I think Sublab is just good. I'm not gonna say they're mid or trash or whatever.
Okay.
But they're just good.
Okay.
And I don't feel like it's anything. I don't think it's extraordinary. Now XL might change that.
I'm gonna download XL now. I'm gonna tell you about it.
Well,
I'll give you the license.
About Sublab and I bought it immediately.
Yes. And then you didn't like it, and I was shocked. I was like, "Yo, you don't like that?" I really love it.
Hype. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it.
I was hyped.
I
apologize. That was bad.
I
I love it. I still love it.
That was a bad put on.
I got it. Now, there's one thing. There's a topic that I really, really wanted to talk about. Shout out to Rob because Rob texted me this. Shout out to people that just text me topic ideas because they actually listen to the show. Rob brought this topic to me, so I'm gonna give him his credit. The topic is, what makes a good mix? And I love this question because it feels so simple, right? But this is actually kind of a trick question, in my opinion, as far as like how to answer this. So I'm going to open this up to y'all first and get your opinion on it, and we can kind of get full circle. So basically what I'm asking people is, what makes a good mix? Because it's subjective, it's music. Yeah. What do you think makes a good mix?
I think... For just feeling, bro. I don't care about, and I'm a big advocate of just going off of feeling and not worrying about the extra dynamic or like being too keen on the specifics on everything, and I'm always wrong about that. But I could care less because at the same time I also listen to music as a consumer.
Right.
And I realized the power of just feeling, bro. Because I'll tell you like this. Polished mix, I always say this, polished mixes are overrated. When Triple X came out,
I knew you was going to bring this up.
Terrible mixes.
Look at me.
And this video, like he was yelling at his engineer, yo, this does not sound good. No, I need it grittier. Yo, change this. Yeah. And this is something that's gone back, especially with hip hop back in the day. Like
it was dirty, boom bap, New York style.
Like, people would get mad at their engineers for tailoring to a sound that, yes, is pleasing to the average ear because you're aiming for, you want to have your song played after Katy Perry or whatever.
Right.
But I feel like had some of those Triple X records, or honestly that whole era, just been to the status quo, it wouldn't have been as effective.
Okay. So you're saying, so basically it's only confirming that mixes, a good mix, when you say the word good mix, it's super subjective because for me, I want to always make sure I have a style, right? Like, I think that's something that people don't realize about mix engineers or don't think hard enough, where when you go to a mix engineer, there's a certain style that mix engineer has. So when you don't just go to a mix engineer and it's like, oh, all of us are going to mix it the same. If I give you a record to mix, myself a record to mix, and you're going to get 3 completely different feeling songs. And it doesn't mean yours is bad, yours is worse.
No, mine is worse.
Probably. But you know what? Here's the funny thing. You never know. Because then the artist could be like, yo, this one feels the best. Because the artist is going to go with what feels the best. You know how, and I'm going to come to you, Courtney. Gotcha. You know that when you say to yourself, or when you listen to a record and you could tell a producer mixed it?
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
We can hear it.
I know what a sound goodizer sounds like on a vocal. Like, I can tell you, if you tell me, yo, this was mixed in FL, I'll tell you if that vocal has a sound goodizer. That's how potent that
sound is.
Yeah.
I don't like when producers, I don't like when producers mix my records. Like when a producer, if I get a producer my record and he mixes it, oh my goodness, I'm
Jason
upset.
Joshua's a producer.
No, not that. No, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Jason Joshua. I'm not gonna. Come on,
Mike Classic.
No, Mike Classic mix my he gonna put his drums
shots today.
Mad high. So what I'm trying to say,
as you should though, Mike, as you should.
As a producer, this guy soft clips everything.
He mixes like a producer.
Courtney
bass is trillion
be the top
through an iPhone. You can hear the subs, bro.
Grung, 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 grung. But that's how he likes to mix. So in my head, this is why when I get a mix from a client, I always say to myself, yo, send me some. I go listen to your music. One, like I'd be like, okay, if you put these songs out, then I know you like these songs. Yeah. So I'm gonna mix around that and kind of like cater to that. So for you, what do you think makes a good mix?
I think it does
you
go
mix
back,
like a producer.
I think well that's because it's a little bit weirder, right? I don't think I mix like a producer. I think I mix like an artist.
Cap.
I think I mix like an artist.
What does that mean?
Mix like an artist.
What does that mean?
I think a lot of artists have a general idea of how they want their records to sound. When you think of Michael has a certain sound. When you think of Prince has a certain sound. When you think of Drake, even from So Far Gone, there was that 40 sound. You could tell like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then it's just become, like I had actually a very interesting conversation with Jonathan the other day. This is a different episode for a different day. But we believe that Drake, in terms of, from an artist to music standpoint, is trying to constantly recreate the high that he caught on Nothing Was the Same.
Okay. From a personal standpoint of like him, like, wow, I've created something like groundbreaking, or just
even from a musical, and from a musical standpoint, like I think he understands that there's a formula here that he really likes and he really appreciates, because all of those elements, literally, if you think about Nothing Was the Same, there's a piece of it in every other Drake album.
Yeah, of course. That album is a good.
It's a good benchmark to say this is where his where he's been, the top of where he's been, and we don't know what's gonna happen next.
Right.
Type stuff.
It shows us where he went. Like if you look at Nothing the Same, it's like the zenith. It's like it shows us where he went and it shows us where he came from.
Take Care was that dead middle. Like ooh.
Right. It's like what we
Nothing
doing?
Was the Same happened.
Right.
Can I
go ahead.
I'm
answer the question after.
What I'm about to say may come back. No, it will come back to haunt me.
Okay,
Yikes.
Let's go. This is LJ speaking.
I'm about to say,
LJ.
LJ.
I feel like we give a lot of artists too much credit in that area.
Ooh. What do you mean?
Because I know artists do have a general idea of what they would like to sound like until they hear what they can sound like.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because once
I understand what you're saying.
I actually agree with that.
Like yo,
nails it.
Let me try something.
Right.
Yeah.
They're like, holy shit. You've seen the whole like that moment of, oh my gosh, that's what I sound like.
Right.
And I feel like it's the same as like the producer mentality where I go in and make a beat.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain channels in my head that aren't tapped in yet until I hear something like
Yep.
I could hear how Timbaland does something, or I could hear a different genre, and I'm like, holy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this with this and that. And it's like you never know until you see things.
Right.
So it's just like I feel like that's the same thing when it comes to mixing. Yes, artists have an idea of what they would like to sound like, but a lot of times, especially new artists, they want to sound like what they listen to.
I get that.
So it's just like, what if I show you what you could sound like in my way?
In my way.
For sure.
So that comes with you being a mix engineer and being like the painter, where it's like I have the artist gives you a canvas, kind of gives you the idea, and it's like, okay, finesse this into what I want to sound like.
But my fault.
Go ahead.
A producer and an engineer could also be artists too.
That's very true.
That's what I'm saying. In the term, like the biggest thing is the ego.
Okay.
Because what makes a good sound selector or person that's able to really pick out sounds,
That's
or
a producer.
like, you have to be aware.
Okay.
You have to be very aware.
Right.
Like you have to be aware not only of what you bring to the table, what your sonics are, what your signature sound is, but you also have to be aware of your aspirations. Like what producer inspires you. You have to be aware of the songs that you just passively listen to.
True. Okay.
You know, certain things that like fill out your daily life.
Right.
Because that then creates a fuller picture. Like it's not just what you're hearing in your head, like this is the song I want to make today. That only speaks for like maybe like 20% of what you're doing.
There's
you
also
know?
access of what you have, because I'm sure a lot
access
of
to
mixes
exactly
would go to the moon. And I feel like I'll tell you my three. I
Three what?
have the answer.
Three what?
The three things I believe
makes a good mix.
Okay.
Hear me out. All right, write this down. Write this down.
Right down.
First, you need to have two plugins in your mix.
At least?
No, these two specific.
Oh, we have to
plugins.
two specific. Okay.
Look at me crazy. I don't care.
One of them's God Particle.
And I'm not talking about good mixes.
We know
Anybody
the
can have a good
One of
mix.
them's God Particle.
But I'm talking about great mixes. Okay. So first you gotta have the God Particle.
You know it. Stop playing with them. We are not getting paid, by the way, for mentioning
not.
this every
This is just
episode.
real
Once Jason
genuine
Joshua
love.
pays me, I promise I still won't tell y'all. Second, you need to have the HMD Rosetta somewhere.
Come on. Get
But
your
that's
life
facts.
together.
So that's-
Get your
Get
life
your
in
whole life
order.
together. Get your whole life together. But
But
that's
all
facts.
seriousness, I think yes, feeling is literally the number one thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
My third thing is consistency. Because
Yes.
you
Yes.
consistency in a mix is so important, because when we bring in features and all of that, obviously consistency on how they sound. But even with dolo artists, some songs don't get finished. Perfect example, Jay-Z 444.
Yep.
I believe the song was Smile or Kill Jay-Z, one of them records. But we know that is one of the worst mixed albums, in my opinion.
Which one? 444?
444.
I don't think it's one of the worst mixed albums.
It's one of the more interestingly mixed.
I'm the guy on the other side of that.
I'm
It's an interestingly
exaggerating.
mixed
I'm
album.
exaggerating.
Right.
But
I'm
we
on the
know
other
that's
side of
not,
that.
That's not the most polished mix.
Okay.
Okay.
That's better. That's a better
I'm talking about the
subjection.
song specifically. I
Subjective
feel
word.
like it was Kill Jay-Z, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Where he recorded
Some
half
of
the
it.
song on
58?
58,
I
half the
believe.
song on an 87.
Yeah.
So it's
And
just
you
like,
hear that
you hear the difference,
Yep. Right.
And it's weird. What's the song?
Say night.
No, it's the one with Frank Ocean.
Yes.
Whatever that song. Caught Their Eyes.
When it comes
And
to-
it's like,
Smile.
whoa.
It's Smile, right?
No, that's Caught Their Eyes. with
Caught Their
Frank
Eyes?
Ocean.
Caught Their Eye?
Caught Their
Okay.
Eyes with Frank Ocean. You hear and if you want, you go listen to the second and third verse of that, and you hear the difference. I'm not even talking by verse.
No, it's
I mean
stark.
by
It's
line.
OD.
OD.
So
I
you can
feel like-
hear it. That
but
Neumann
if they
kick in.
kept it one or the other, it would be a great mix regardless.
Okay.
Guru's,
Shout out to Guru, of course.
Guru's
Shout out to
go,
Guru.
and everybody else who worked on it. I'm sure there
Of
were
course.
other people. So
Yeah.
shout out to them. And I know they did the best with what they could do. But
Right.
imagine if it was all SM58 or
Right,
all
or
87.
U87.
It would have been a great mix regardless. Well, it would have been a good mix because they didn't have the Rosetta. But that's
Here's
another
shout out facts. Shout out to you for supporting the company. This is what I'm thinking, right? When I say what makes a good mix, the biggest rule of thumb I think that people can take from this is it's whatever the artist is happy with.
Yep.
That's very true.
That is
Ultimately.
the ultimate state, like that is the ultimate thing. It's not I think a lot of times, a lot of mix engineers may put too much of themselves
Into
in
the
their
mix.
and not think about, well, what is the artist actually looking for to achieve out of the entire mix? So for me...
Or more so, what do they need?
For sure. And I've heard the greatest engineers in the world say, I lost clients. I lose clients all the time because I do something and it just wasn't what the artist wanted. Granted, I did Grammy-winning records and all this other stuff, but I wasn't the right person for that specific person. That person didn't want that kind of sound. And I've learned that many times where it's like, oh, this is not how I want to sound. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So I'm always been mindful of, as far as what makes a good mix, to me, it's all about what the artist really wants and making that art.
Which is also too why I think if you might remember about 2 years ago when I first started engineering other people in Mount Vernon and stuff. I always, and even to this day, I still make it a point, even when I do just like collab sessions with some of my friends just to record certain songs. I let them know because like a lot of them, they're just walking in for the first time, just like, whoa, I didn't know that you record like this out your own crib like this.
Right.
And it's like, yo, I sound like this, and I'm like, bro, I will show you the YouTube channel. Like, go to Help Me Devvon, bro. Like, because my thing is,
channels, right?
For sure, I want to build that business connection too. Like, you think, I'm you're a client, and then I'm your engineer. I can help you, do whatever you need to do artistically. Right. You also, it's very important for artists to understand how to do things themselves.
Yo, oh my goodness.
Because you don't grow if you don't. You know, I really, realistically, and it's not because I don't, because I think people like really look at us like crazy when we say stuff like this. It's not because I don't want money. It's not because I don't want to help you. I just don't think I will, like, you constantly coming back to me as your engineer until the day you die, it's not serving you any good. And it's not allowing you room to grow.
Well,
I want you to like I can definitely, I'm always be there to help you.
Okay.
But there has to be a step for you to be like, I now understand this, and this, but I want this for myself now.
It depends on the person.
It also depends on the person too. So for sure,
I
let me get this off real quick.
Let me look. Since I'm my mind, I really think that it does depend on the person ultimately, because at the same time, I can look at a Drake and 40 relationship, and I'm like, yo, if you got the guy,
for sure, and that's one thing.
But if I see, because some artists, I'm gonna be honest, I learned to not put the burden on some artists to be like, yo, learn how to record yourself. Do it.
No.
It's not for
like
everybody.
That. Not like just jump off and go,
No, I know what you mean. I know where you're coming from. You're not saying anything wrong.
But I feel you.
But you know what I mean? I just think that if you're blessed enough, because here's my situation. I wasn't blessed enough to have an engineer that I can rely on to record me at the frequency that I wanted to record at.
For sure.
Or at a quality at that point. That's the hard part, right? Somebody that's actually good. So for me, I said, okay, I'm going to learn this because one, no one's going to work harder on my music than me, right? Two, I can record 24/7. Back in the day, if you could put out a lot of records, you were beating everybody in the hood because because studio time actually costs money. Yeah. So when somebody put out a song, bro, the value of it was so massive because it was like, oh, you really grinding, because it was a lot of money. You spent a lot of money to get that song recorded because you had to get the beat. Like, it was a real process. So now, with it being so diluted and being so easy to record,
so accessible,
it's just a little different for me, like, as far as that's concerned. But back in the day, I needed to learn how to record myself, like, in order to have a good mix.
Shout out to SoundClick.
Oh, yeah, SoundClick. Oh, my goodness. SoundClick. Oh, my gosh. What a thing. So here's one tidbit that I did want to give everybody as far as good mixes, like some actual technical stuff. One thing I always preach to mix engineers around the world. And no, I'm not the greatest mix engineer in the world, but this is one thing I always say as a rule of thumb. If you're not reference mixing, this is why you're getting disappointed every single time you go in that car or you play it anywhere in the world. If you take your favorite song that you love, right, and you play it against your song in the studio you're sitting, if it measures up, you'll know. You'll hear it immediately. As soon as you put on that, whatever OT Genesis, not even a Michael Jackson, something modern, like a modern day song that kind of sonically sounds like yours, that you like, I love the sound of this, play it right next to your song while you're mixing. And you're gonna hear everything you're missing, you're lacking, and it'll get you closer to your goal. Like, I always preach that to people, like, yo, I'm telling you, some of y'all, that's the one thing y'all are missing probably. It's just referencing.
Shout out to Chosen by Blast, not for any other reason.
Oh my gosh.
But
that is the one that's only reference.
Wait, we serious?
Yeah.
I don't care if I mix it for Celine Dion. That's my reference.
That's my reference. Chosen by Blast. Yo.
Shout out to Blast. Yo, Blast, if you see this, bro. We have an extra pace on the couch.
Send us
I'll
a
get off
session.
this couch.
Facts.
I'll get off this
I'll
couch.
move you myself. Send the session. Like real talk. Chosen by
I'll
Chosen.
move myself.
Chosen by Blast.
It's a great record.
I Still
Chosen.
Love
And what's
You
the
by
other
Kyle
one?
Still on my
Dixon.
way.
Not Kyle Dixon.
Kenyon
Dixon.
Kenyon. I know you're talking
Kenyon
about.
Dixon.
So best referencing, best songs for referencing for me. I'll tell you.
Bring
mine.
him out. Bring him out. Bring him out.
That's an interesting reference.
Nah, I don't use.
Okay,
that.
I was like, that's a
just thinking
weird
about that
reference.
song. I don't know why.
One of my
I got a
favorite
few.
references is Doja Cat. Kiss Me More.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
So one of my,
It's a
shout out
great
to Serban. Oh my, the most legendary big engineer probably
That was-
ever. One of
Essence.
I think it's Serban. I forgot his name.
Wizkid. Essence by Wizkid.
That is if you're mixing Afro, just use
beautiful.
Essence.
Yeah.
Mix,
That
bro.
the
Shout out to,
sound.
I forget his name, but we saw him at
We met
NAMM.
him.
Yeah.
Dro. I forgot his name. Shout out to him. We'll figure it out. I'll put his name down here. Essence is an amazing reference.
Chosen, Blast.
Katy Perry. California Girls for me as a pop record. I love that
I think Wide
reference.
Awake, I like the mix on Wide
Oh
Awake.
my God, that's a big pop record.
What's her name? Dua Lipa. What's the record? Not
Don't listen
Levitate.
to
Yeah.
Yes, I use it too. Oh my God, I use that record.
No.
Cause I don't wanna do it alone.
What's the record?
Ha.
And copyright.
Again? Oh
And
yeah, facts.
copyright.
Can I tell you what song I use for low end referencing?
Oh, Cardi B.
Still on my way.
Oh my God, how you know me like that?
Oh.
I use WAP.
Oh,
I use
really?
WAP.
It is a great
For
low
low
end
end,
song.
I'm sorry. Yo, shout out to Leslie Bradford. I think Leslie Bradford mixed that.
He does a lot of her mixes.
Yeah, he does. And he,
That-
Shout out to Jay White. He did Bodak Yellow, and that's some of my favorite low end.
Low end,
It's
yeah.
dirtier, but
it
I really
bangs.
I'm about to say
Hits.
that new record she dropped with Kanye and Dirk, Hot Shit.
That's
It's
a
her.
really good record.
I gotta listen to it.
Her mixes are really like intentional when it Cardi B when it comes to the low end. They're
It's
very intentional.
very good.
I like it.
Super good.
Mixes in
Oh,
a song
for sure.
called "Let Me In."
Who?
Her. She has a song called "Let Me In." I think his name was Mickey who mixed it.
Okay.
Shout out to him.
Okay.
But it's a song called "Let Me In." It's amazing. It's for like the weirder Prince sounding.
Okay.
thing. And oh my gosh, Lucky Day has a song
Oh,
called.
his mixes sound good. Who mixed it? Lucky's Day stuff.
I know his name. I literally follow him. Oh, Jay Kersey.
Jay Kersey?
Jay Kersey.
Jay Kersey does a lot of it?
But
Whoa.
there's a song called "Feels Like." It's incredible, bro.
Right.
Does it feel like? And it's live instruments, so it's amazing.
Sounds
Shout
a
out to
beautiful
him. And shout
sound.
out to D-Mile. Maybe D-Mile was mixing the beat. Like, to
Got
an
you.
extent. So
Of course.
I want, yeah.
And shout
I
out to
wanna
the
s-
recording
I'm a-
engineers.
Shout
That's
out to
something that we
recording
do miss.
engineers. Shout out to my guy Omar. Shout out to the gang.
For
Shout out
sure.
to Mike
Facts.
Classic. Be in the studio. Shout out to all the people at Quad Studios. Shout out to all them hood engineers, mixing engineers
That's a
that
fact.
don't know what they doing, but they record in Ableton.
That's a fact.
And Magic's Music
Wow.
Maker.
And
That's
yo,
what-
50 an
engineers,
hour?
all you engineers that when I go to these big studios and you load up the session and you recorded me dry, I'ma snuff you.
If you record dry, you deserve.
I get so mad. They be recording me dry. I'm like, yo, put something on my
And
voice,
They say you're
bro.
about to
Try
build
to,
the
like,
chain from
tweak your
scratch.
vocals.
Yeah, they
Yo.
be like, it's more natural.
Why
I'm
don't
like,
ma-
I
I
don't
don't-
like it.
It's more natural. I don't like mix. Like, I don't know why, but whenever I ask like mix engineers, yo, you use a template to record, and they get offended.
get
I already
offended.
stopped, but I don't like it. I don't like that.
Don't
Like,
get
no,
mad.
That's so whack. That's cheating.
But can I say something? Anytime I pull up to a studio, bro, and I go, excuse me, I'm
Let me
gonna
set this
load
up.
my template, and I load it, and I'm like, start. They be looking at my template like, what is this?
They're like, how?
I'm like, it doesn't fail.
The Devvon Terrell signature template available at $21.99 right now. It's on sale.
24.
$24.99. Helpmedevon.com. This
That-
has been the Audio Nerds podcast.
I love templates. I just can't go without it. But one thing I will say is there's two more records that I did want to mention. So I do use a Jeremiah and Ty Dolla song. Ty Dolla
what's the
song.
song? Let's have sex.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
doom. So I have a reference mix folder full of records for picking references for. So I buy a bunch of music. I still buy a bunch of music, and literally I'll listen to my song and I'm like, what does this sound like? One time, Mike Classic is here. Mike Classic gave me one of the best references, and I still use it to this day. I remember because I always ask him. He's a client of mine, right? I did a master for him once.
It's crazy.
and
He's a friend.
I know.
He's one of our friends.
I'm just for context. They don't know.
Mike, come back.
Mike is
You made Mike leave.
Mike is a repeat client for me, right? So he asked me, and I always ask Mike. So I'm like, yo, send me a song you like sonically. You want this song to kind of sound like. And one time he sent me who was it, Mike? What's his name? Singer, R&B singer. No, Pretty Little Fears. What's his name?
Oh,
Black?
Six Flag. 6 Lack.
Black. You wildin'. He's gonna fight you for that.
6 Lack.
Black. So you sent me a Black
Shout out to
song,
Black.
and that. What's the Black song? Do you remember what the Black song is?
Pretty Little Fish.
No, it wasn't that.
Switch.
I'm Balenciaga. It's Balenciaga Challenge.
is hard.
That song, low end wise, and where it's sitting, I fell in love with that song. Like as far as like the balance, yeah, that's your sound. So I wound up using it as a reference, and I use that a lot now for different references. So it's like I have my go-to references. I always, anytime I walk into a new studio or a new room, I'll play my references first so I can hear the room because I know these records like the back of my hand.
Right.
I learned that from an engineer. I forgot who it was, but he said he always goes into the studio. First thing he plays is Thriller. Because he's heard this record ad nauseum and he's heard it on every single system. So when he hears it, he's like, I recently bought, and we still on mixing, I recently bought the JBL speakers. Oh, you wasn't with me, none of y'all wasn't with me in LA. I went back to the room in LA, studio, and they had the little JBL 8-inch speakers, the MK3s. Oh my God. I was so impressed with those speakers.
Fire.
I went home and bought them. I bought them when I was sitting there.
Are they better than the Adams?
So here's my thing. I won't say they're better than the Adams, but I will say, are they more detailed and gave me more of an image?
So they're better.
No, I can't say that.
You said they're better.
Because they served a purpose. But my mix, I'm not going to lie, I did my first mix on them the other day, and it translated. It was incredible. Like, I was like, whoa, this mix sounds way better. Like, I played one of my old mixes. I was like, oh, no. It sounded way bigger. It just, the image on them, I like the image on them. Really, I got the cheap Adams. Realize that, too. Whoever wants them. By the way, if you want them, hit me in a DM. I'll sell them to you.
I asked you for them the other day. You said they're not for sale. All right. Yo, this has been an Audio Nerds podcast.
He heard.
Take us out.
He heard.
This has been an Audio Nerds podcast. Thank you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. One person that reviews us is going to get the HMD Rosetta EQ for free. Follow me at Prod by LG. You don't need to worry about the rest of them. But they in the description if you want.
But they.
And yeah, we'll catch you.
We're
Shout
outta
out
here.
to Behringer